Trap it out.
Welcome to Otaku Shop, where it's nothing but liquor and anime. I'm Shane.
I'm Scott.
Cheers. What are we drinking tonight, Scott?
We got some Blue Moon with us, and we just got done with our Captain Morgan from the other night, so feeling good.
Yeah, good. Typical combo for us. But tonight, something fun that we're trying tonight. I'm introducing a new drinking game. Basically, at some point throughout the episode, it's a few times, but this random buzzer that is a hentai moan is going to go off, and when that goes off at random times, we have to then drink. But I can't wait. It's super fun.
Haha, yeah, so much fun.
Would it sound very enthusiastic? Anyway, starting off the night with our topic, we're going to kind of talk about anime adaptions, essentially, and kind of how whenever they make a manga into an anime, when the manga continues going for a very long time, but then we never see another season for the anime that's going. My first real thing my first prime example for this that I will give you guys. Oh, there it is. Drink.
All right, I got know. How often is this gonna happen?
That was the buzzer. I'm not sure. It's random.
Well, that won't be distracting or derailing at all.
That would be very distracting and derailing. Anyway, but yeah, my prime example for this would be, if anybody has seen Ouran High School Host Club, this was kind of the prime example for it. They, basically, I'm not going to give any spoilers away for anything, but basically they got very far into the anime where the manga was, and then they just kind of ended it on this note, but didn't continue it any further to the end.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times where you'll have a really good anime that you love, and you want to see it get animated more, obviously, but then they just stop the animation for it for, I'm not sure of exactly the reasons. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but then you possibly have to start reading, or you were originally reading. Recently there has also been Tokyo Ghoul. The manga has been going for a very, very long time. There was an anime for it, but it wasn't announced that they were doing the actual third season of it until recently. But it's still like there was a lot. Basically, the thing that happened was just they didn't know what to do with it, essentially. I was talking to you about this, right?
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff that's like that. That's just like, yo, you love this anime and you're ready to see it go on, and then it just doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty sad, especially for someone like me who doesn't read a whole lot of manga. I mean, I've only read one so far. I've been trying to get into more, but I'm just a lazy bastard who never...
Scott's not too manga fluent.
Yeah.
He has only read Attack on Titan.
Yeah, we've talked about it a few times.
Yes.
But, so it's especially disappointing when I find, like, a show that I really like, and then it only goes on for, like, a season, maybe two, and then I just have to... I mean, I could be not a bastard and read the manga and actually follow up with the story.
But you still want to see it animated.
Yeah, definitely.
Is what we're trying to get to the point here. Is that there's a lot of times where, I mean, yes.
I mean, it depends for me. I mean, something like Attack on Titan, I definitely want to see everything that I've read so far animated. But there are a lot of shows that I've watched that I just want to know what happens with the plot. I don't care so much about seeing it all drawn out. Yeah,
but there are a lot of people who strictly watch anime and don't read, and like I'm not one of those people. I actually read a lot. Most of the time I actually pick up an anime, and then if it's not finished at the time, I start reading the manga to get ahead. To like the prime example of this would be My Hero Academia. I remember I watched the first season and then loved it, started reading it, got caught up to where they're now at season 2 now. They're starting season 3 actually. And did you see that, by the way? Season 3 is airing in like April.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, like they're just throwing it. They're like already ready to go.
Well, I'm ready for it.
Less
Let's
than
get it out.
Like, yeah, I know. Like, it was so surprising though to see, just because they just like they've been really going for it.
Yeah.
And like that's another thing is that like there's also a lot of anime that like I love personally, but I never really had to read it because they just kept going and going with the anime, like Naruto.
Yeah.
Like I did read Naruto, but like I only read it just because I wanted to see how it would be to read it, as opposed to watching it. But still, it that's one of the animes that's like constantly going. So there's not a lot to really do with that.
Can you think of any examples of anime that were made like there we go.
Drink.
Animes that were made and actually caught up with the manga and then had to like either stall with the useless arc until the manga got more chapters added, or like went in a totally new direction.
Kind of like, okay, so
I can't think of any real examples of that.
So like there are a few examples that I can think of that have done that. I'm trying to think of. There was like Naruto does this a lot actually, where they were making it at the time and it wasn't done, and they just kept using filler.
Yeah.
And like
all the episodes that are just all flashbacks.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
I swear, I've told you about this before. I swear there's an episode of One Piece, like not even an episode. There's like a few episodes of One Piece that the whole thing of it is just them remembering things that happened like 2 episodes ago. Or maybe that's not an actual episode, but there was one night on...
I'm sure that's an actual episode.
There was one night on Toonami that's all I watched. It's just flashbacks of things that had already happened, like, just a few episodes ago in the show. And I'm like, is this just Adult Swim replaying things, trying to play it off? Or is this the real, like, how this actually goes?
There's an episode of Naruto. Like, one time I was watching an episode of Naruto, and I was skipping all of the flashbacks to see how much actual info I was getting out of the episode. And I had maybe 8 minutes of actual animation.
Oh my god.
And that's the thing about Naruto.
Wait, flashbacks as in any flashback that occurred, or flashbacks as in things that you had already seen in the series?
Things that I had already seen. They were just remembering. That were
sometimes
like recent.
They have flashbacks that are like actual character development.
No, this was straight up just like flashbacks of things that were already happening, of just Naruto just babbling about some shit before a battle, of like his like past times. And then I was just like, okay, and I kept skipping it, and then eventually like I would stop for like 2-minute increments, and then eventually I was like, okay, the episode's done. I skipped literally like I think like 14 minutes of the episode.
Oh my goodness.
Which is too much. And that's the thing about Naruto that I also wanted to get into, is that since Naruto is like constantly being made, it doesn't really stop. There's not really a stopping point for it. It airs weekly. There's not a time where they have a break, really. There's a time where they have like maybe a couple week break, but like that's it. But oh, there it is.
It's so weird.
Isn't that the best? But anyway, with Naruto. Oh shit! Let's hope that doesn't keep happening all the time. But with Naruto, getting back to it, since Naruto is constantly airing, they have to, man, these things has lost my train of thought.
I told you that's what's gonna happen. You can't just insert hentai moans into a conversation and expect things to go normal. Like,
it's pretty normal. But
what kind of conversations do you have? That
it doesn't matter. We're not getting into my personal life here.
Okay.
Anyway, but what I was trying to get to is that since it's animated constantly, they add all the flashbacks in a lot, I feel, to just add the filler into it, because they already have previous animation that they did, and they just have to edit the past animation and possibly add maybe a black and white filter over it to make it look like a flashback.
Yeah.
And
make it all like foggy. Put the transition.
Because a lot of
I can't do sound effects apparently.
But a lot of the times for anime that like you have that has aired and then they don't do it, a lot of the times it has to do with budget and just possibly the studio that was doing it just dropped it. I was actually hoping that for the new season of Tokyo Ghoul that somebody else would pick it up because I hate Studio Period. They have these weird Dorito chins that they do for all of their anime. So like for Tokyo Ghoul, everybody just had these like really sharp, long chins. And it just looked so weird to me. And I wish that somebody else would pick it up I was hoping that someone would pick it up to just reanimate it entirely.
Dorito chins, huh?
Yeah, like, you know, a Dorito. Think about a Dorito. You know how pointy it is. Not exactly pointy, but it's like, you know, it's still a fine point. Yeah. And then you get that little bit of edge.
I get it.
Yeah, but it's stupid.
It's just like, do they make the chins orange and everything, or like,
they don't? That's not the point here.
Because otherwise, I would just say it's like a like they're triangular. We need
to power through so we can get through the next hentai mode because I don't know when it's coming and we gotta go.
Okay.
We're in a frenzy here. But there it is.
I'm running out of beer.
You can use the alcohol after that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hi.
But there's a lot of times where it just depends with what they're doing with the animation, whatnot. A lot of people had a lot of questions about like, you know, why Attack on Titan took like 5 years to make again.
Yeah.
And a lot of that people were like assuming that it was due to the animation companies and the amount that it would take to create the series, which some of that had to do with it. But I learned recently that like, so Attack on Titan, it takes about I think 34 chapters of a manga to create an anime, or at least a season of an anime.
And I'm sure that also varies depending on like how manga accurate they are and yeah.
And for Attack on Titan is something that is very manga accurate. And the thing that's great about it is that Attack on Titan, the manga is a monthly occurrence. So it takes time for the author to really like narrow down what they want to do and get rid of all filler as they can. And Attack on Titan doesn't have nothing that I can think of that is a filler aspect of it. Everything is very important, I think.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, but that's kind of what they did, and it just took them forever to make it just because with 34 episodes being in a season, that's roughly around 3 years because it comes out monthly.
Yeah.
That's roughly around 3 years to even get the right proper stuff for it, and then to finally animate it after that, which took a long time. But there's also an anime that I watched. It was what was it? I'm trying to think of. I don't remember.
Oh, well, that's good.
Oh, Noragami. Yeah, it was Noragami.
Okay.
Yeah, Noragami, that's a bit different, but they made the first 2 seasons like a few years ago, I think. Or at least 2 years ago. And it was so good, and they got far enough that they could have made another season. But no one has said anything about picking it up yet. And I don't know if anybody will. Also, the manga author who's doing it, they actually got sick recently in the past few months. Yeah, and they've been on like 6 months of hiatus at this point. So it's been stuck at like chapter like 63 for about 6 months now, and they like finished it off on a good note, but they didn't finish the series.
Yeah,
and I like even for this point, it's even the manga that hasn't been finished that I want to know about, and like. That's another thing about manga artists and manga authors is that in Japan there's a lot of times I've noticed recently where people have gotten sick or they're too unhealthy to do anything for their work anymore, so they have to stop. Which is why I like the author of Attack on Titan specifically because he waits monthly to do it. He doesn't have that much cramming time to do it. There's a lot of people who are like concerned about manga artists because they have to release stuff every week.
Yeah.
And they're being overworked by how much they have to do. And plus, like, some manga artists draw everything as well. Mm-hmm. So, not only are they writing the story, but they have to draw everything. And, like, I'm sure they have a team to help them, but it still takes time and money.
Yeah.
Money is also just a big key factor in everything, and everything's so expensive. Apparently, it takes roughly around $2 million just to create a 13-episode anime.
I feel like I had something funny to say about that, but it's gone.
Okay.
I wish I had 2 million. I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, it takes so much money to make it, and then that's kind of the problem with picking up anime is that you don't know. Oh, there it is again. Drink.
You just don't know. You don't know when that hentai moan's gonna come. Oh, no pun intended there.
God, this hentai moan is ruining me.
Never a sentence I thought that I would ever hear. Did I say that right?
I think you did. I don't know.
Did I say...
Don't ask the audience. They can't answer you.
We have a Twitter. Whatever.
We have a Twitter. We also have ways to contact us if you want to contact us to let us know how much we suck at speaking.
And if I said what I think I just said right.
Alright, email us at otakushot@gmail.com if Scott is saying their correct wording.
Okay. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the amount it takes for an anime to be made. Which is also what goes into it. Like, a company like... So, for the people who make Naruto, it's different for them because they have the animation money and the power to do all this. But there's a lot of times where you'll have something that just... It either also didn't get enough, like, good feedback to be an anime also, to keep going.
Yeah.
Or it just wasn't high enough demand. There's a lot of animes also where since it's kind of like how movies go, where you have a movie and it's like kind of like reading the book. If you read the book for something, typically you enjoy the book more than you probably enjoyed the actual action of it, because the book has all the original content. There's nothing left out. Everything you saw was what you saw. But there's a lot of times in anime where something is either out of order, they redid something, or they just completely took something out. Servamp is actually a good explanation for that.
Really?
There's actually an arc in Servamp. You haven't finished Servamp, but they left something. They left an entire arc out in the beginning of it, and now they're going back, and there's going to be a movie next year. And basically, what they did was they took that arc and made it into a movie as a side story, so they could still have it, but they probably didn't have enough money at the time to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or there's times like Bungo Stray Dogs where they just had, I guess, so much money to just make another season so fast. Or like My Hero Academia right now where they're just pumping out episodes. Which is surprising because, like, I know that My Hero Academia is also becoming more of like it is a shonen anime, but it's not like the normal Naruto shonen. They still are not continuously making episodes for it.
Yeah. And
there's not really filler in My Hero Academia. But it's still cool to see them putting it out so fast at this point because there's so much manga that is yet to be covered. Another great example that I love for this also is Prison School.
Prison School? Oh, dude. I enjoyed Prison School, but I just couldn't watch it anymore. I don't know.
What do you mean? What was wrong with it?
I don't know. I can't handle other people being put in extremely awkward sexual situations. I just couldn't look at this. Like, I couldn't take it anymore. I don't know.
No.
I tried. I got up to like, what, episode 4 or 5 we watched?
Yeah, we got up to about that.
I don't know. I can't do it on my own. I gotta have somebody to like converse with.
See that awkwardness of Prison School and all the situations they get put in. It's just so fucking hilarious to me.
I can't. It's
that. If anybody here has not ever watched or read Prison School, do it immediately. It's hilarious. You are not wasting your time.
It is hilarious. Well, I guess that's the take on Prison School then. Just a good old.
But Prison School is one of those things also where they made a first season of it a long time ago. They made maybe one OVA after that was part of the manga. But they never continued it. And I'm assuming that's due to the fact that it does not have a wide crowd for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an ecchi anime about fucking just these boys in prison.
That are just scumbags.
Yeah, they're scumbags. They're real scumbags. I mean, they're real scumbags, but it's cool. I still love them. But most of the time when it comes to anime, and most of the time I just pick up an anime, and then if I really, really enjoyed it afterwards and there's nothing left to watch, I will read it. And then most of the time for a lot of the things I read right now, they either have not said anything about what's going on, or they're just not going to do anything.
I don't know. I have really no comments on this whole topic because it's like
you don't read.
Yeah, I don't read, so it's like whatever comes out as an anime, I'll watch. Like I mean, I've pretty much said the only thing, like the only end of this whole topic that I really feel is like when I'm watching a show and I don't get to finish it because a second season was never made. Like, excuse me, K Project is
K Project.
Yeah, it's like coming to my mind. Mainly just because I feel like they got into so many questions in the first part of that. Like
Also, if you didn't know, K Project, it did go on.
Oh.
You never saw the second season of K Project. It's not on any media, I don't think. It was on Netflix, but only the first season.
Yeah, that's how I watched it, but I didn't.
Yeah, but there is a second season. Oh, here we go.
Well, I guess that's the thing of it for the second season of K Project.
But yes, there was a second season of K Project. You just didn't watch it.
Well, I gotta watch. I say that, but I already have so many things I gotta watch.
You do, like Haikyuu.
I'm
gonna get onto this every single fucking
not
episode
not
until
even
you
just
watch
Haikyuu.
it.
I'm so far behind with everything, dude.
I mean, same here. I haven't watched well, that's not true. I've been watching Monogatari. I finished all Bake. I watched the first episode of Nisei, and I'm gonna continue it after I'm done with my finals and whatnot for school, and then we'll be done here. But the thing about that is, even though you don't have a lot to contribute to this, there's still probably times where you watch something and you understand that it's not complete.
Yeah, definitely. But then I just go to the wiki.
See, you gotta stop doing that also. See, whenever that happens for me, I just want to read it to get the actual story.
But see, I don't want to contribute that much time to answer, like, simple questions. Like, I don't invest.
But, like, what if you just want to see this whole story entirely? There's whole other arcs.
I don't know. Usually, if I have like unanswered questions at the end of a series, it's either something like Attack on Titan where it's like I actually like Attack on Titan is the one that I actually didn't want to just look up like the answers to the questions I had.
You didn't want to spoil it for yourself.
Yeah.
You're a spoiler, Scott. You fucking spoiler. Gotta spoil all the shit for you.
I'm a spoiled boy.
I am also kind of a spoiler. There are some times where I've been like ooh, what's gonna happen? Like, oh.
So weird.
Oh.
Why? Why is that your automatic?
Oh, there it is again.
I hadn't even taken my drink from the first one yet.
Take two. You got a beer?
I'm out of beer.
Nice. What's the alcohol?
Beer is alcohol.
What's the hard alcohol?
I will. Slumped.
But, like, there's a part where, like, this is one of the things that I, like, personally was, like, very invested in, but I was so curious what's to happen, was, in Persona 5. You good?
I'm okay.
In Persona 5, I did play through without trying to get spoilers, but before the game even started, I had a bunch of spoilers from it, just because I started playing it, like, months and months after it had first aired.
Yeah.
And, as you all know, I run a Tumblr blog. I'm on Tumblr a lot, especially anime. When Persona 5 hit out, my fucking feed on Tumblr was just full of Persona 5 stuff, and that's all I saw, and, like, I immediately saw all these characters and knew kind of what was going to go on, but didn't really know, but didn't want to spoil it for myself also, but, like, I was also like, hey, if a spoiler comes on, like, I'm not going to complain, and then I started playing it, and then I was like, fuck, I kind of wish I didn't see all these spoilers,
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't spoil like the end of the game. I only spoiled like the beginning of the game for me, kind of what, like the whole deal of what they were doing in it. But like after that, I kind of like kept it away from that. And like sometimes you'll see like characters and stuff that you're like, oh, I didn't know that about that character. But like I saw it on Tumblr and I was like, oh, I know that. I already saw it.
You think that made the game easier to play through the first time? You already kind of knew stuff about it, or
kind of
you knew like not really an advantage. It just kind of hindered.
The thing about Persona is that like, if anybody knows anything about Persona, you kind of like go through when you go through the game, you just like meet more characters and you grow your group more. But a lot of the times in the beginning, when I first got into Persona, there were group members that weren't there in the beginning that like you would see, and I already knew that they were eventually going to be part of my group essentially. Yeah. And that so kind of ruined it for me because I'm like, oh, when are these people going to join? And like, how are they going to like eventually get thrown into the mix? But like, I didn't exactly know that answer yet. But I still knew that eventually they were going to be thrown in.
Yeah, I get it.
It happens a lot for video games for me. There's a lot of times where, like, what did I play recently? There it goes. Drink. You don't have to do that if you don't want to.
No, that's the game. You gotta drink when the noise.
Also, we're gonna drink with the noise. Scott's like pretty much down for the count, by the way. Like he's going.
They know. They can hear the downward progression of my sanity.
I don't know if they can because you're not loud enough. But anyway, goddamn you.
It's your game. You wanted to play the game.
We're gonna try to think of other drinking games to come up and think of.
I just lost the game.
But
you know what I'm talking about?
No. What are you talking about?
The game. If you know about the game, then you play the game, and if you think about the game, you've lost the game.
Don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're going into at all.
I guess I'm just an idiot then.
Okay, but concluding this podcast, there's a lot that goes into whenever they make an anime, and whenever they're trying to figure out what to do with the manga and how they're going to do it. And sometimes they just say fuck it and they're not going to do it. Or they just completely get no fundings or anything to do it with. They get, maybe perhaps the manga doesn't continue like Noragami. But the point is that there's a lot of times where I personally just want to keep going on something and I have nothing more to watch, so that I continue reading, or I have nothing more to go on in general, and I still wonder what happened to these amazing series that's going on. But I'm going to cut this podcast right here. We're going a little early because Scott's passing out from this game.
No, hey, you can keep talking. I'm just going to not say
I think we're good here. Anyway, remember to follow us on Twitter, follow us on SoundCloud, follow me on Tumblr at Hideyoshi's Nagaska. What else? What other social media do we have? Is that it? Oh, YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think that's all though. But thank you guys all for listening and have a good night.
Night, guys.
And Scott's gonna go pass out.
Yep.
Goodbye, guys.